everybody, welcome back to another video on the channel of Mr. Footballer News, and today I'm doing Game Week 31 predictions of the Premier League, and we are going to be starting off on Tuesday coming up. It's the 2nd of April, and it is at St James's Park. It's Newcastle United versus Everton. You know what? Newcastle United, a couple of injuries have hit them. Jamal Lascelles injured possibly all the way to 2025. That's two huge injuries to two centre-backs at Newcastle United. Sven Botman and Jamal Lascelles are now injured till next year, I believe. And Miguel Almiron did hobble off injured, but Harvey Barnes, what a goal. The thing is with Harvey Barnes, he doesn't really do much skill. He doesn't try and beat anyone. All he does is wax it. He always tries to go for shooting, passing or crossing. If you look at his stats, he's probably not, taking on players as much as someone like Alan St-Maximin would back in the day for Newcastle United. But coming into this game, Everton, they lost it against Bournemouth. They've been in very bad form, very bad form. Newcastle, yeah, a few injuries. Kieran Trippier should return, which is good because Newcastle's defence is terrible. Even with Everton not scoring much, I still feel like they're going to get goals because that Newcastle's defence, especially now without Jamal Lascelles, it's going to look awful. I am going to go high scoring, even for Everton, even though they don't score much. And also, can I say, what was Coleman doing? That was a complete miscommunication there. One of the worst own goals ever. It was all over the place as well for Everton. And also, Anthony Gordon right at the end got a red card. Maybe there could be something, but Newcastle will win this because of a home advantage, and they still won it remarkably. Just about 4-3 against West Ham United. They definitely played better than West Ham. So I'll stop waffling, and I'm going to say this is going to be a 3-2 win to the home side, Newcastle United. Moving on to the next game, it's at the City Ground. It's Nottingham Forest versus Fulham. Well, Nottingham Forest, then out of the relegation zone again after getting a 1-1 draw against Crystal Palace. Chris Wood with another header. Man, he's amazing at heading. Seems to always get into the great opportunities in terms of heading. He's good at penalties. Other than that, he's not really good at anything else. But Chris Wood's actually clicking. He hasn't clicked for any team since Burnley with Sean Dyche a few years ago. Good to see him starting to click. But Nottingham Forest facing Fulham. You know what? Fulham sensational. They thrashed Tottenham 3-0, getting a clean sheet against Tottenham. But then the week after, they were 3-1 down against last place Sheffield United. 3-1 down. Good job they managed to get a comeback and at least get a point out of that game. But yeah, overall coming to this game, Fulham, like I said, only got a 3-3 draw against Sheffield United. Could have done a bit better considering Fulham are playing fantastic. Honestly, don't know who to go for. City Ground, Nottingham Forest home advantage. I don't think they're losing it because they've got a lot to play for. Their life is on the line, you could say, as they're fighting to stay up in the Premier League. So I'm going to have to go down the middle because Fulham wasn't amazing at Sheffield United. I don't see Fulham losing it though because of how well they've played before that Sheffield United game. And I will say 1-1. I am tempted to go for a Fulham win because of how well they've been playing. But I will go down the middle and say 1-1. Moving on to the next game is at Turf Moor. It's Burnley versus Wolverhampton Wanderers. And well, Burnley, last 3 games, they're undefeated. I said they'll get a 1-1 draw against Chelsea. And well, they did get a draw, but it was a 2-2 draw. And considering they managed to get a draw with not just Vincent Kompany getting a red card, which he won't be on the touchline this game because he got a red card, but also a Signon that also got sent off. And at 0-0, they had 10 men and they still managed to draw at 2-2 against Chelsea. That was a fantastic result. Honestly, superb by Burnley. You can tell they've got fight. Now they're at home facing Wolves, which Wolves did lose 2-0 against Aston Villa. But you know what? They put in a very good shift against Aston Villa. They're a hard side, especially going to Villa Park. But obviously, Wolves are the better side. Just before I go into my prediction, Wolves are definitely the better side. But Burnley, they're home. They're desperate. Yes, Noah Signon. Yes, Vincent Kompany won't be on the touchline. But they didn't need those 2 people in there because they still managed to get a point against Chelsea eventually. So I feel like they can do it at home, and I am going for a shocker. I feel like with all the momentum, the last 3 games unbeaten, they're desperate, only 4 points away from survival. Yeah, they're going to win this only just about, especially with Neto and Hwang Hee-chan still injured. I'm going to go Burnley 1-0 come the final whistle. Moving on to the next games at the Vitality Stadiums, AFC Bournemouth versus Crystal Palace. And well, these two teams, it's coming near the end of the season now, and these two are just mid-table. Bournemouth got a win against Everton, which was pretty decent, but overall coming into this just looks like a draw. Crystal Palace 14th, Bournemouth like 13th, I may be mistaken. Haven't looked at the league table after the last game week, but overall this just looks like a draw, both in a very similar position. I'm going to go down the middle, a bit of goals because Solanke is scoring loads of goals, 16 goals in the Premier League, so I will go high scoring. I'm going to go 2-2 come the final whistle. Moving on to the next game, is a huge one. It's a London derby. It's West Ham United at the mighty London Stadium facing Tottenham Hotspur. What can I say? Tottenham Hotspur, they've got so many attacking options. So many. Brennan Johnson as an attacking option. Heung-min Son, Timo Werner, Kulusevski. We keep on going. Fantastic attackingly. Defensively, maybe could be a bit better compared to their attack. But overall, Spuds, they managed to win it 2-1. It was against Luton Town. Maybe they could have been a bit more defined. Again, what happens each time Tottenham, they always go 1-0 down at their home stadium and always have to come back from 1-0 down. It's happened loads, but they're away from home here. It's a hard one to do because West Ham lost against Newcastle. Deservedly, West Ham did go on a bit of a losing streak in recent time, but now have kind of come back on the level, but then lost against Newcastle. Really hard one to predict, and considering Spuds won against Aston Villa 4-0, then lost against Fulham 3-0. So if you look at that, it's really hard. It's really hard to predict. So I'm just going to have to go down the middle in this London derby. I cannot pick a winner. I think I'm more on the Tottenham side. But overall, West Ham, they can do a very good shift. They're very disciplined under David Moyes' style of play. So I'm going to go 2-2 at the final whistle between the two sides in this huge London derby. Moving on to the next game, is a whole new day. It's the 3rd of April. It's on the Wednesday. It's Brentford at the G-Tech Community Stadium facing Brighton and Hove Albion. Obviously, Brighton, they can just go past that. They face Liverpool at Anfield. That's never going to go down well, especially Brighton not doing as well as this season as they were last season. They lost it 2-1. You know what? They kept it fairly tight. Well, Liverpool had over 30 shots against them. It was a lot of shots in that game. But Brighton, they have been a bit inconsistent. They haven't been as well as last season. They're facing Brentford, which, how did they not win that 4-0? They hit the post 4 times and they had over 30 shots against Manchester United. They should have won that 3-4-0 in that game, and they conceded at the 96th minute and went on to get a late minute. It was late drama in that game. Brentford very unlucky. Ivan Toney playing amazing on international duty. You know, got himself a goal, and he got himself an offside goal, which he balanced himself really well. And he also got himself a great assist, great ball control with the assist. And Mbeumo's back. You know what? He's fed some good balls to Ivan Toney. Obviously would have got the assist, but it was obviously offside. But you know what? Brentford are looking very fresh after the international break. And coming into this game, considering Brighton, you know, you don't know whether they're going to win or lose. It's really unpredictable. I am going to go with the home advantage in this one. Because Brentford played so well, they're going to finally get that win. And in my opinion, that team right there is too good to go down. So I'm going to go 2-1 come the final whistle to the home side, Brentford. Moving on to the next game at the Emirates Stadium. And well, it is Arsenal versus Luton Town. I can't remember the exact result. I think it was like 4-3 to Arsenal in the reverse fixture early on in the season at Kenilworth Road. That was great. Again, Luton Town, they only lost it 2-1 against Spuds. They're always in the games. Like, I'm really surprised where they are in the league, only in 18th. They always keep their games very tight. Come to this game against Arsenal. Yeah, Arsenal, they faced Manchester City. 0-0. That was boring. 0-0. 0-0 against a title racing clash. That really makes it very clear path for Liverpool to win the league. I said they'll win it. At the moment, it's looking even more likely they're going to win it after a 0-0 result between Man City and Arsenal. But Arsenal, the home against Luton Town, realistically, they should definitely win this. I don't think it's going to be a similar game to how it was at Kenilworth Road in the reverse fixture. Sorry, Luton, I won't say an absolute thrashing, but I will go quite comfortable for Arsenal. So I'm going to go 3-1 to the home side Arsenal. Moving on to the next games at the Etihad Stadium. It's Manchester City versus Aston Villa. You could say this is a title race game, but Aston Villa, they're, what, 4 or 5 points off of Manchester City? I think they're 5 points away from Manchester City. Yeah, Aston Villa aren't going to win it realistically. I mean, they could do this. It's statistically still possible, but I doubt it. But, you know what, Aston Villa, amazing. They're back on winning ways, and they look really fresh after the international break. Really well structured overall, Aston Villa. 2-0 comfortable win against Wolves. It was quite a close game. They did very well to get a clean sheet in that game against the Wolves side, playing very well. They're facing Man City, which, again, like I said, a 0-0 draw against Arsenal. Again, they dominated the best possession. But coming into this game, Aston Villa did look, they were blipping up a bit before the 2-0 win against Wolves. And they did, lose and draw a bit against questionable teams. So I'm not going to say Aston Villa to get a point at all. And Man City cannot afford to get another point. So I feel like Man City will win this, only just about, and I'm going to go 2-1 to the home side, Manchester City. Moving on to the next game, it is a whole new day. It's the 4th of April. It is at Anfield. It is Liverpool versus Sheffield United. You know what, Sheffield United? McBurney, he looked really good in that Fulham game, didn't he? That was a lovely outside of the foot pass. Got himself a goal, got himself an assist. But again, Sheffield United, that's happened twice in recent time. They had a 2-goal lead and they bottled it. I'm facing away against Anfield. This is not the game they wanted. They should have really got the 3 points against Fulham. Not looking good for Sheffield United. I'm not going to go for an absolute 5-0, 6-0 because I felt like they definitely did decent against Fulham. 3-all. Last couple of games have gotten draws, so I won't go for absolute thrashing, but it will be comfortable enough for Liverpool, especially at that mighty stadium Anfield. So I'm going to go 3-1 to the home side, Liverpool. Moving on to the next game, you could say this is game of the week, or you could say Manchester City versus Aston Villa is the game of the week. But it is at Stamford Bridge. It's Chelsea versus Manchester United. This one's a huge one. Manchester United obviously higher up in the table than Chelsea. But Chelsea, last 6 games in all competitions, they are undefeated. Last 5 games undefeated in the Premier League. Although they seem to be drawing quite a bit. They got a 2-all draw against Burnley. I mean, what's going on there? They were 0-0. Burnley went down to 10 men. Vincent Kompany got sent off. Plus Chelsea, they're at home. How did they only get a point there? I predicted that they would do something silly. That's exactly what happened. Only a 2-all draw against 19th isn't acceptable enough if they want to push any higher than where they are. And they're facing Manchester United, which, you know what? Manchester United did not do well in the last game. They did awful. They should have been battered. They were very lucky to get a point. And considering Chelsea are at home at Stamford Bridge, I think I may edge Chelsea. Home advantage plus Chelsea. In recent time, usually when they face the top 6, they seem to do pretty well. Like against Manchester City, they've drew twice against Man City this season. They drew at the start of the season against Liverpool, and I'm sure there's loads of other examples where Chelsea have done really well. Like against Arsenal early on in the season, they drew it like 2-all. They really do compete against the top 6 teams, and Man United are one of them. Considering Man United weren't performing amazingly against Brentford, which are really low down on the table, like 15th or something, correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah, I'm going to go Chelsea. I think Chelsea undefeated. I feel like Chelsea are looking better than Manchester United considering the last game, even with Manchester United winning against Liverpool. I'll stop waffling, and I'm going to go for another 2-1 result to the home side, Chelsea. And well, who is my goal of game week 30? Now, there was so many contesters. You can say Munez's bicycle kick. You've got Cullen's volley for Burnley. That was fantastic. The 1-2 of Brownhill, that was superb. You've got Harvey Barnes. Harvey Barnes. What a great goal that was. And I'm sure there's lots of others that I'm not saying in this video, but it's hard to pick out all those 3. I am going to go with Harvey Barnes. It was just struck really nicely. So I'm going to give it to Harvey Barnes for goal of game week 30. And well, how did I do last week? Well, I got 8 points out of the possible 20 points. And well, I should have got at least a point or even 2 points in the Brentford Man United game. I don't know how Brentford didn't win that 4-0. How did they not win it? It was crazy. But overall, I am currently on 177 points out of 586 points. Hopefully you did enjoy the video. And if you did, why not check out this absolute banger of a video right here? Come on, just click. It's simple, just click. Toodle pip.